Hey, Brad Kearns here to talk about one of my favorite subjects, correct running technique. That was not it. And what we see so often is people doing the simple sport of running, jogging, whatever level you're at, with horrible technique that compromises their performance, increases risk of injury. I know it's a simple sport, it's not technique heavy like golf or something else, but when you exhibit good technique, you can really make a lot of positive changes, especially reducing injury risk and getting the most performance for the energy you put into running forward. So the fundamentals are pretty simple. It starts with good posture. So I want to maintain a stable pelvis, shoulders forward facing, and when I pump my arms, all my energy is coming from the big muscles up here, and my hands and arms are relaxed. So I'm going to pick an angle like 90 degrees and keep that angle and pump those arms like a choo-choo train, okay? But never swaying across the center line or doing any of this side-to-side motion, especially with my pelvis. So I have that stable center of gravity over my feet at all times. So if I were to begin running in place, obviously everything's going fine right now. I'm balanced center of gravity over my legs, and I want to preserve that as I run along, rather than the common pattern of overstriding, let's say collapsing into the ground. My center of gravity is leaning forward over my foot. I'm losing all this energy pushing into the ground. I have to correct on the next stride, and oftentimes we lose our center of gravity backward, so we're rocking back and forth and side to side, as I tried to demonstrate when I ran to the camera. So our first objective is to get everything right while we're standing still. We can run in place with the proper arm carriage and maintaining that straight and elongated spine, stable center of gravity right over our feet. And when it comes to the use of the feet, the foot strike, what I want you to envision is the act of pedaling a bicycle, okay? So as we're pedaling a bicycle, we're picking our foot up and back very quickly. So it's coming on the ground and off the ground very quickly, and you're flexing your foot. It's called a dorsiflex foot. So it's a quick action to generate explosive force off the ground, where you dorsiflex your foot, imagining your toe clearing the opposite knee as you do a stride. So it's very similar to pedaling a bicycle. Again, the opposite would be losing your leg out here with an overstriding pattern, or having lazy feet where you're not using the power of your Achilles tendon to spring off the ground. And that's what I showed you in the initial run-up, was where I was just dragging my feet along the ground rather than firing them quickly when I touch the ground. So it's quick on the ground, quick off the ground. You're running like a deer, a beautiful animal that's springing along the ground. So I will demonstrate with a drive-by using what I'll call strong foot, where I'm using the explosive power of the Achilles tendon to strike the ground and spring off the ground quickly and engage this bicycle-style stride. And then I'll compare and contrast to what I call lazy foot, where you're just shuffling along. And again, this technique requires focus and concentration at all speeds. So even when you're jogging and there's not a severe penalty for poor technique, you want to exhibit good technique, stand tall, keep those legs snappy and explosive, and that will help you as you go faster and faster. Sprinting is the best way to learn good technique, because the penalty for collapsing into the ground or swiveling your hips back and forth is huge. And so a lot of times when we try to speed up, we get up on our toes and we feel better just by virtue of going faster. That's why sprinting is so important, a critical component to overall training program, even for endurance athletes or for anyone wanting to be healthy. So let me show you strong foot, and then I'll compare and contrast to lazy foot. So you notice the contrast between that graceful stride where I'm absorbing impact efficiently, taking off, and looking at that nice flow like a bicycle versus the lazy foot where I was just dragging through the park, dragging these heavy things through the park without any efficiency and more impact trauma. This is really important as you increase speed. So I'm going to show you a couple faster speeds and then you'll see what it looks like as a real sprinter, but I'm using the same technique fundamentals at all running speeds. So I'll do this in a clinic and take people through this, and the group will say, it feels weird, it feels like my knees are too high and I'm just running straight up and down, because we're so used to lunging forward with our running, especially when we're sprinting and trying to get to the finish line so quickly. Go look on YouTube for Usain Bolt and you'll see pictures of the athletes and they're straight up and down or slightly forward. And this is what you want to perfect running at all speeds, especially jogging. Get those feet moving, use those ankles, use that Achilles tendon to spring like you're jumping up and down off the ground, and then just take off and run with that same technique in your mind. Remember, now that you've watched this video, there is no turning back ever again, because you can have that lazy foot sensation, catch that, fix it, run like you're pedaling a bicycle, run like it's hot lava. So you're pedaling a bicycle over the hot lava. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I got to get those feet on the ground and off the ground quickly. So work on it. Use that wonderful Achilles tendon to generate maximum explosive force with each stride. Even if you're just jogging along, you can still do it with that beautiful technique, and never again go back to lazy foot. And this is just a brief glimpse of all the videos that I have on the Primal Endurance Mastery course. We'll also show you in the next video some drills you can do to perfect this good technique.